Hi, this is Mr. Campbell. These are the notes, the lesson notes for Unit 4, Day 1, Unit 4 Statistics, Day 1, Central Tendency and Dispersion. So there's some definitions here we need to talk about. Some of you probably already heard before. The first one is we're going to talk about the measures of central tendency. Okay, and there is some multiple choice questions in your homework for Day 1, so you might want to highlight some of these definitions. The first one, statistics, and numerical values used to summarize and compare sets of data. So we're going to be dealing with statistics. There's three measures of central tendency, and a central tendency is a number used to represent the center or middle of a set of data values. So the mean is you add up all the data points then divide by how many data points you have. So on the mean, add them all up, then divide by the number of points you're adding. Means is another way in statistics is average. You know, you add up your scores, you got 10 scores, you add them all up, divide by 10, and that'll be your average score. In statistics, we call it the mean. Median is the middle number. The middle number when data points are in order. Okay, so if you got an odd amount of numbers going from smallest to biggest from left to right, then it's the middle number. But if you got an even amount of numbers, then you have to average the two middle numbers to get the median. The mode is the most frequently occurring data point. What occurs the most. And you might have more than one mode, or you might not have any. Okay, so the first example, talking about measures of central tendency, is we're going to find the mean, median, and mode. So without your calculator, for step 1 is you need to put these numbers in order. So I'm going to put them in order from smallest to biggest, from left to right. So I have -2, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. And notice I go from left to right, smallest to biggest. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is kind of nice because I can find the median right here is 2. So your median is 2. Okay, your mode, which is the one that occur the most, you got 2 1s and 2 2s. So you get 2 modes this time, 1 and 2. Okay, 1 and 2. And then we're going to find the mean. We've got to add all these numbers up to find the mean and then divide by the number. So the mean equals -2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 and plus 7 divided by the total numbers. We got 2, 4, 6, 8. We have 9 numbers. And when you add them up on the top, you get 25 divided by 9, which is a decimal, is 2.78. So your mean is 2.78. And they also use for mean, the abbreviation is X with a bar over the top. That's the abbreviation or symbol for mean. Okay? So mean, you add them all up, divide by the number. The median's the middle number, and it's nice if you have an odd amount of numbers because it actually ends up being the middle number. If you have an even set of numbers, then you got to divide the two middles to get the average of those two numbers to get the median. Then the mode's the one that occurs the most. In this case, we had two of them. Sometimes you could have more than one, like this one, or not have any. Okay. So now they want us to do a you try one. So let's do that. Okay. So notice these numbers are already in order. So I need to find, I've got 1, 2, that's 0.1 there. Okay. 0.1. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So I'm going to have to average the 3 and 4 numbers. I have to average those two together. Okay. So first, let's find the mean. Okay. And the mean is going to be all those numbers added up. So 1 plus 3 plus 4 would be 7, 8, 15, so 23.1. When I add up all the numbers, and there's 6 of them. And when I add those, I get an average of 3.85. So your mean is 3.85. Your median this time, because you have an even amount of numbers, I'm going to have to average those two middle numbers. So it'd be 3 plus 4 divided by 2, which of course would be 7 divided by 2, which would be 3.5. So your median is 3.5. Okay. And then your mode is the one that occurs the most. And this one here does not have one because they all occur once. Doesn't have a mode. You got 0.1, you got 1, there's none of them that are the same. Okay. All right. Now let's turn the page. Some questions to think about. Does the mean have to be one of the numbers in the data set? Explain. No, it doesn't, because it ends up being an average, because it's an average. Then it says, does the median have to be one of the numbers in the data set? No, because if you have an even numbers of data, points, you need to average the two in the middle to get the median. Okay. Okay, so we just talked about measures of central tendency. There's 3 of them: mean, median, and mode. Now we're going to talk about measures of dispersion. Okay? Measures of dispersion. Okay? First one's the range. And you find the range by it's the greatest value in your set, the biggest number in your set of values, minus the least value. Or you could say maximum value minus the minimum value. And it is a method of dispersion. It's not an accurate dispersion method to check, but it does work. Okay, it is a measure of dispersion. It's not a great one. The second one is called the standard deviation. So the first one is range. The second one is standard deviation. And you find the standard deviation, it's a funny abbreviation. It looks like a 6 that's kind of tilted towards the front. And it ends up being the square root of each value minus the mean squared. So I take each one of them subtract the mean, and then square them. And again, you don't know how many you're going to have in your data set. So you're going to say plus your last one minus the mean squared. Okay? So, that's the formula we're going to use. Okay? And let's talk about dispersion real quick. I mean, if you were a dart thrower, which one would you rather have? Okay? Would you rather have this one here, or would you rather have that one there? And of course, you'd rather have this one here because your data is clustered, C-L-U-S-T-E-R-D, or closer together. Also, your range is going to be smaller because the values are closer. Your biggest and your smallest are closer together. Okay? Okay, example 2. It says without using your calculator, let's find and interpret the measures of dispersion, okay? So notice they're already in the order that we want. So let's find the range first. The range, if you remember, is the max minus the min. And since they're in order, it should be the last one minus the first one, which would be 9 minus 1. So our range is 8, okay? Now let's go ahead and we need to find the mean because we're going to find the standard deviation now. So let's find the mean. And the mean, we got to add all these up. 1 plus 1 is 2, 3, let's see, 7 and 9, 24. So when I add them up, I get 24, adding all those numbers up, and divide by 6 because there's 6 of them, right? 2, 4, 6. So my mean is 4, okay? So then the way you're going to do this is you're going to take all the numbers and subtract the mean from them, and then you're going to square the numbers. So for example, I'm going to take the first number, which is 1, then I'm going to subtract the mean, which equals -3. Then I'm going to square the -3, which gives me 9. Then I'm going to take the next number, which is also 1, subtract 4, I get -3. Then I square it, I get 9. Then I take 3 minus 4, which gives me -1. Squared would be just 1. Then I do 4 minus 4, which is 0. And of course, 0 squared is 0. Okay? Then my next number is 6. So 6 minus 4 equals 2. And then I square the 2. I've squared every one of those numbers. When I subtract first, then I square them. And that gives me 4. And then I take 9 minus 4, which is 5, and I square it, and I get 25. Now, what I do is I take every one of these numbers after I've subtracted them from the mean and squared them and add them up. So we're going to add them all up, okay? So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 4 is 23, plus 25 is 48. So I'm going to add them all up, and I get 48. Okay, I'm going to add them up. And then how many total were there? There were 6. And then I take the square root of the whole thing, which gives me the square root of 8. And the square root of 8 is, of course, when you simplify it, 2 square root of 2, which is equal to 2.83. So my standard deviation is 2.83. So we found the range and we found the mean. And the only reason we're using the mean is to subtract from all the values and then squaring them and then add them all up and take the square root. Okay? Okay, so these here are 5 numbers. So let's first find the range. That's the first measure of dispersion. So my biggest number minus my last number or smallest number, my range is 4, 5 minus 1. My mean is going to be the sum of all those numbers, okay? So I'm going to add them all up. So that's 6 and 9 is 15, okay? 6, 10, 15. And I divide by 5. 15 divided by 5. So my mean is 3. And I'm going to write my symbolism here, x bar, or x is the mean. And then now I need to find the standard deviation. So I'm going to take each one of those numbers, okay? 1 minus 3, 1 minus my mean, correct? And I get -2. Then I'm going to square it, which gives me 4. Then I'm going to take 2 minus my mean, which gives me -1, square it, and I get, of course, +1. Then I'm going to take 3 minus my mean, which is 3 minus 3, which gives me 0. And of course, 0 squared is 0. Then I'm going to take 4 minus my mean, which is 1, and 1 squared is 1. And then I'm going to take 5 minus my mean. 5 minus 3 is 2, and then 2 squared is 4. So now we add all those numbers up. So that gives me 10, okay? So it's 10 divided by the amount of numbers I have. So it's the square root of 2. 10 divided by 2 is 2. And the square root of 2 is equal to 1.41. So my standard deviation is 1.41. Okay? Okay. So methods of dispersion, the range is the max minus the min. The standard deviation, you're going to find the mean, subtract the mean from all the numbers, and then square that number, square that value, and then add up all those squared values and take the square root and divide by the number. Okay? That's the quickest way to do it. Okay, the next one, we're going to do it with technology. Okay? We're going to do it with technology. So I'm going to get my graphing calculator out. Okay? So what you do is you take this data and you go to use your calculator. Okay, I'm going to move this up. So it's right here. Okay. And of course, turn your calculator on. And you're going to go to click Stat. Okay. And we want to edit. So in L1, we want to put all those values in there. So if I have some values in there for L1, I want to hit clear and then arrow back down to clear all the values out. Okay, so I don't matter what order I put them in. This thing here the calculator will order them for you. 46, 47, 48, 51, 54, 58, 40, and your last one's 52. Okay. Now we want to calculate the 5 numbers summary. Well, really, we want to find the mean, median, and mode, and we can also find the range and the standard deviation, okay? So I hit second. I go to my stat, just go to stat again, arrow over to calc, and you see where it says one variable statistics. That's what we want. So hit number 1, and then you're going to hit enter 3 times. 3 times. Okay, so we found right now our mean is 43.8. Is that correct? 43.78. Okay. My median, my middle number, okay?
Students, if you are in an even numbered room, you may now leave. Everyone else, please stay in your classroom.
I arrow down and it is 48. Then it asks me for my range, okay? My range. So my biggest number is what? 58. And my smallest number is 40. So 58 minus 40 gives me 18. okay? So I found my mean, my median. This one doesn't have a mode. It doesn't have a number that duplicates, okay? And then my standard deviation, you just arrow, it's right there. Don't use it. It's this one right here. There's your standard deviation, which is
Students, everyone
5.27.
else, you may now leave. Thank you and have a great evening.
5.27. Okay. Okay. All right. So now let's do the back side. Okay. Go to outliers. Okay. Did you guys have some you try on that one there? Let's see here. Let's see where we're at. Okay. We use technology. Okay. We've done that. I want to make sure that we're getting these all done. Okay. So now, okay. You try. Okay. So outliers. Outliers are measures of central tendency and dispersion. When you use measures of central tendency and dispersion, can give misleading impressions of data set if the set contains one or more outliers. An outlier is a value that is much greater or much less than most of the other values in the data set. So let's do this first one here. You're training for a triathlon. The miles that you ride your bicycle for 7 weeks are given below. Okay. So I'm going to plug it into my calculator. Okay. All right. So go to stat, edit, and I want to clear those values out I've already done. Okay. I got to clear those out. And I've got 17, 20, 16, 18, 22, 19, 20. Okay. So I got those. And then go to your stat and arrow over to calc and hit number 1 and hit enter. And now you can count. So the mean is 18.86. Your mean, you can also abbreviate it if you wanted to, X bar is 18.86. Your median is equal to, arrow down, there's your median, which is 19. Your mode, which is the one occurs the most this time, is 20 occurs twice, doesn't it? So it'd be 20. And your range is, let's see, your smallest value was 16. Your biggest value was 22. So 22 minus 16 would give me a value of 6. My standard deviation, there it is right there, 1.88. Okay. Now, your mileage the next week has an outlier 3. Find the new median, mode, range, standard deviation for the data set. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my stat. I'm going to put in my table. I'm going to add a value for it, which is 3. Okay. Then I'm going to hit calc again and let it calculate. And then this time When I do that, I get, from my calculator, I got my mean. Putting in my outlier, I get 16.88. My median, my middle number, when I arrow down, is 18.8, 18.5. My mode, that doesn't change because I put in the outlier 3, so it's still 20. My range is going to change, isn't it? Because it's going to be the biggest number, which is 22, minus the smallest number, which is 3. So it changes drastically to 19. As I look, my standard deviation is, as I go to my calculator, is 5.53. So look how, when you compare the values, my mode didn't change. My median changes and my mean changes, and notice my range really changes with having that outlier. And also my standard deviation that shows how close those things are together also shows it's more spread out. Okay, so which one does it affect the most? The mean is the most affected. Okay, all right. Now, central tendency, mean is most affected. By the outlier. And the mode is the least affected. Now remember, it's talking about central tendency here. It's not talking about range and standard deviation. Those are dispersion. What effect does it have on the range and the standard deviation? Well, the range and the standard deviation change because they're more spread out, so they get bigger. Range and standard deviation increase because they're more spread out. That outlier really changes things. Okay, so your central tendency, which is mean, median, and mode, the most affected out of these three values is the mean, because it went from 18.86 to that. The median only changed by 0.5, and the mode didn't change at all. Okay? All right, let's do this next one here. All right. So let's try this one here. And let's put these values in using your calculator. So I go to Stat, Edit, and I'm going to clear the values out that I had in the last problem. I'm going to put these in there. 3, 4, 2, and you can put them in any order. The calculator will automatically do the order for you. 5, 3, 4, 2, 5, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2. Okay. Then go to Stat again, Calc, one variable statistics. Okay. Hit that, hit enter 3 times. Okay. So it gives you your mean so your mean is 3. Okay. Your median, you get your median, arrow down. There's your median, it is 3. And then your mode, the one that occurs the most, is also 3. Okay. Your range is your smallest number, which is 1, minus your biggest number, which is 5. So it's 5 minus 1, which is 4. And then your standard deviation, as I arrow down, your standard deviation, I have to go back up to see it, is this one right here, which is 1.15. 1.15. Okay, so now the next score in the next game is 9. So I go back to my stat and I'm going to edit, stat edit, and I'm going to put in a 9 down below. Okay? A 9 after that, okay? Then I'm going to hit calc again. So my stat, calc, one variable stats, and then there we go. So now we get an average or mean is 3.6. Our median is, arrow down to get your median, is 3. Your mode is the one occurred the most, which was what? Let's see, 3 times, so it's 3, correct? And then your range, so these are your measures of central tendency. These here, correct? And then these two here are your measures of dispersion. Or the range and the standard deviation. Well, the range is the minimum, so it gives you the minimum value of 1. And then the maximum value is 9. So it's 9 minus 1, which is 8. So your range is 8. And then your standard deviation is up here. Okay?
Students, the time is now 2:35.
Standard deviation is right here, which is 2.12.
Thank you and have a
Or
great
2
day.
point, I got 2.12. Okay? So those are all the values from your calculator. Okay, there's your measures of your range is 8, your standard deviation is 2.12, your mean's 3.6, your median. Now, which measure central tendency does the outlier affect the most? Okay, well, the mean, again, is affected the most. Okay? And looking from 3 to 3.6, the other ones didn't change. And this one here, you could say really the mode is affected the least. Could say both mode and median. Mode is affected the least. All right. What effect does the outlier have on the range and central tendency? Well, both, because you put that outlier in there, the range and the standard deviation are going to increase. They're going to be more spread out. So they increase. Okay. All right, the last problem. So let's plug this into our calculator. Go to stat. Okay, and we want to edit. Okay. We want to edit number 1. So I'm going to go up and clear that out. So I go up and highlight L1, clear, then arrow back down. I'm going to put those values in. 71, 91, 91, 91, 91, and 91. Okay. Then we want to find the mean. Then I want you to find the mean, median, and mode. So I go to stat, arrow over to calc, and hit number 1, one variable stats, and hit enter 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so my mean is equal to 87.67. My median is equal to 91. And my mode is also 91. Okay? It says, what grade do you think you deserve and why? And I'll let you think about that. Okay? To me, being a teacher, I would probably say you deserve a 91 because that 71's an outlier. Okay. So I think that person just maybe had a bad day or something. I don't know, but that's day one notes for Unit 4.